Well, my position, I was a pit foreman, pit boss for several years, and about 6 years in Brutus's pit, and then I was foreman over the drilling and shooting, the overburden, blasting, and then reclamation. So, yeah, I started in 1962 and spent 33 years continuously with them. From 62 to 78 here, and then I went to Asbury Mine over in Missouri, and I stayed there until we mined out our 20-year contract, and then I went to Raton, New Mexico. They had bought a property in New Mexico out there, and so I went out there and finished up and retired from out there. So yeah, I was the supervisor on evening shift over. Yeah. Well, I just had to make sure that they had everything they needed, and I had a tremendous crew. We were blessed with really good, responsible workers. They took pride in their job, they took responsibility, and they made my job really, really easy. All I had to do was see that they had what they needed and stay out of their way. They were a talented bunch of men. They were really talented. They knew their job, they took responsibility, and they took pride in their work. And I got to say that when I went to New Mexico, I encountered a completely different culture out there. And I was complaining about the quality of men that we had. And the president of the company said, you have been blessed in the Midwest here with the best workforce there is in the United States. And he said, don't be comparing the rest of them with this workforce here. And that kind of gave me a little solace, So yeah, I started when I was 14 years old, planting trees in the summertime on the spoils, the dumps, and worked in the summer planting trees when I was 14 and 15. And then when I was 16, we painted the entire complex of Mine 19, the tipple and all the buildings and everything and that. And then I worked on the company farms from there until I was hired on in 1962. Yeah, so I go back over 65 years with an association with P&M. Yeah, mining's a dangerous occupation. Yeah, it's very dangerous. And when you were dealing with ropes, it's 3.5 inch in diameter, if one of the ends would break, the eye that you pull them in with and that, then that rope flew or back out on that. There was danger there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Most of my memories is when the machine was broke down. When it was running, I don't have memories of that. But when it was broke down, I have memories of that. Yeah. One of the memories I have that's pretty unique, that is pretty vivid in my memory, is I was on evenings one night, and Don Smith was the operator. And he called me and he said, Paul, you better get down here. And I said, what's the matter? He said, the spoil, the dump where we were dumping the overburden, he said, it's cracked and starting to move. So we turned the crawlers as best we could to pull away from it. And when we did, that was what was holding the base of the spoil. When we did, the spoil just come with us. And the crawlers overheated, and that dump came in. The operator said 60 feet high, and that dump came in completely to where you could walk out of the cab. I walked out of the cab onto the spoil, 60 feet. And it had pushed that shovel, Brutus, which is a monster machine, it had pushed it about halfway across the pit. And the leveling jacks on it are set in a big bolt like this, big ball. And as it slid across the pit, the crawlers started digging in and turning sideways. And when it quit, there was about half of those balls showing. And if it went much further, it would have dumped Brutus on the ground. Well, it took us 3 days with dozers pushing the spoil back away from it on each side, and loaders carrying it away. And then the final work was hand shovels in around the crawlers and that. But that's one of the big memories I have of it, yeah. The old saying, if it can't be grown, it has to be mined. And you stop and think about it, that's very true. If we can't grow it, It has to come out of the earth. God has provided us with all these things in this earth, and He provided us with the ability to grow crops to feed us. But He also put all the minerals that we have, the gold, the silver, the coal, the oil, the gas, into the ground. And I don't think that was by accident. I think God put that in there for us to use, because He gave us dominion. He gave us dominion over the earth, the birds and the fish and the cattle and all this. He also gave us dominion over the minerals that He put in there for us to sustain life and quality of life. People that don't understand that, they may think, well, you're mining, you're tearing up the earth and that. We did tear up a portion of that, but we reclaimed it back to where it has value now. I feel like we supplied electricity, and all the byproducts that are made from coal and gas, plastics, all the stuff we enjoy that we don't even associate with that. Our byproducts of the mining industry. So you always feel like you could have done things better, and that. But I feel like that by and large, I enjoyed my work. I enjoyed coming to work. I enjoyed the people I worked with. And when I hired on as a prospect driller, looking for new coal fields. And after about 4 years of traveling the country, and I lived in 11 different states at one time, in 1 year, traveling around looking for other coal fields. And I got tired of that, got married, which made a big difference. And so they give me a job, out here as a supervisor on evening shift and that. So, yeah. Well, I just feel very fortunate. I'm 81 years old, and I can hopefully still find my way home and that, But, I've maintained the association with all these good people, through the years and that. And I've had a really, really good run. I mean, my association with P&M has always kind of been like a big family. There was 6 of us kids, and our house burned down. And in those days, you didn't have insurance. You didn't have anything like that, And it put a real strain on my dad, trying to farm. He was farming and trying to raise 6 kids and that. And we didn't have any place to live. We was living in a chicken house with 6 kids. And George Nettle stopped him on the road and said, Dan, he said, we have bought a farm. It's got a real nice farmhouse. We don't need it. He said, you need that house? He said, you can have it for nothing. And Dad never forgot that, never forgot that. President of the company came and looked up Dad and was, had compassion enough for him to give him a house.